Yes, good morning. Thank you for stepping in for us today. As our chair, BJ North is actually in DC. I'm not sure what she's there for, but something cool, I'm sure. So I know she is not here. Nancy McCormick? I saw her.
She was here.
Yes. I just realized I saw her, but I don't know where she is. Well, wait a minute, she'll probably come back. Robert Chisel.
Here.
Yes. Eric Brown. Milton Stewart.
Here.
Edward Estepona.
Here.
Marisa Brown. Craig McDowell. Sang Dow. And Janus Nelson. Okay. We do have quorum, though, because I saw Nancy. There she is.
Okay.
So we did establish quorum today, so that's awesome news.
Okay.
So we can vote on minutes and the other item. So I will stay up here.
Okay, I'm going to move on to item number 2 then. Public's comments will be taken during this agenda item. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item until the matter is included on an agenda as an item in which action may be taken. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes per person. Person making comments will be asked to begin stating their name for the record and spell their last name. The council chair may elect to allow additional public comment on a specific agenda item when the agenda item is being considered. Do we have any public comments today?
I see none.
All right, moving forward, we're going to item number 3. I want to welcome Todd Thurston to the meeting, and just, we're not voting on Todd, but we're hoping to vote on Todd in the next meeting to be on the board. But I want Todd to introduce himself, let us know everything, and then if other people have questions for Todd, please ask.
You bet. I understand this is my trial run, so I'll do my best. Todd Thurston, I'm at Panasonic Energy. I've been here for 6 years. Came from Atlanta, Georgia, where I was there for about 30 years. And different roles, having my own company and working for other entities there in Atlanta. Education-wise, I have an undergraduate degree in marketing and a master's in instructional technology. So I've been in the professional development, talent development, workforce development since '93. I'm starting to learn about it, getting a little bit better. So just been working with TMCC quite a bit the last few months. I've shifted roles from directing our high performance culture and talent development to leading our Plum Lane office and our community and workforce development. So been learning a whole lot and enjoying it. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Todd. Anybody have questions for Todd? Well, we welcome you. Hopefully we can welcome you formally next meeting. You did great, by the way.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number, well, it looks like we're going to do, we're still on item 3. We're going to do approval minutes for May 2024.
I hate this. Yes, so sorry, and I neglected to say something earlier. Apologies. Joseph Greco, unfortunately, has stepped down from being on the IAC. His work schedule has changed in such that he travels too much at this time to be able to be present in a way that he really wants to be on the IAC. So he spoke with the president last week, has sent me an official resignation, and for now is no longer, which is why we were able to meet quorum. So I apologize that I did not mention that earlier. So apologies, Chair. Okay, so approval of minutes. I'm just looking from the IAC members that are here, and approval of the May minutes, which is in your packet. If you want to read through it, feel free and take a couple minutes, or if you've already looked through it, we can take a vote now. I'll need a motion, a second, and then we'll take the vote. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. Sorry. All right. So Sang Dow was previously the deputy superintendent at Washoe County School District and served in an ex officio position on this board. Unfortunately, she's no longer with the Washoe County School District, and after attempts to reach her to try to see if she wanted to continue to stay on the board, we have not been able to reach her. So we are going to ask for the IAC's permission through vote to vote her off so that we can work with Washoe County School District and the new deputy superintendent to bring them onto the board, hopefully with a vote with Todd in November, and we'll bring them both on at that time, which we're very excited about. So I will need a first, a second, and a vote again.
Can I get a motion?
Robert Chisholm, motion to remove Sing Dao Yang Kao from the board.
In a second.
Milt Stewart, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item number 3, President's update. So, President Hilgerson is now attending some big hoopla Zoom meeting with the congressional delegates. So, do we have
Jeff actually
is
does
going
have
to
more.
be
Yep.
stepping in. So we've got a bunch of subs today. So
Yes,
we're good.
A lot of subs today.
Thank you very much, Chair Espona. It's a pleasure to be here. Jeffrey Alexander, Vice President of Academic Affairs at TMCC. For the record, I'm standing in today for President Hilgerson. Dr. Hilgerson sends her best. She is in the building and is upstairs testifying today virtually for a congressional workforce panel on battery workforce initiatives. And she's very excited about that as TMCC plays a big role in battery workforce initiatives here in Nevada. And I'm pleased to offer her remarks today and her update in her place. I'll begin by saying that August was a blast. We had a lot of work to do to get as many students onboarded as we have. Our theme for this year at TMCC is Pride and Belonging. That is based on the idea that when students achieve, we are proud of them and they are proud of themselves. And all departments on campus engaged in fostering and will continue to deepen a college culture where students feel welcome, not just because they fit in, but because we celebrate who they are as unique learners and each with different perspectives, experiences, and cultures. We welcomed over 11,000 students to TMCC this semester, a remarkable number, a 12% increase in enrollment for a total of 6,152 full-time equivalent students in credit-bearing programs. A really exciting milestone for us. Our students are diverse.
I have to make sure I clap. I'm the rah-rah.
Yes, applause is welcome. We have a very diverse student body with across-the-board increases in all underrepresented groups, including a 17% increase in Hispanic student demographic, a 13% increase in our American Indian demographic, and our veteran students are also on the rise. Over 450 veterans, Guard members, dependents, and active duty military are now enrolled at TMCC. Our Veterans Resource Center has been remodeled. The space is much improved. Please stop by and check that out if you get an opportunity. And of course, we have a whole host of terrific interactions at the TMCC Welcome Center, which is a one-stop center that helps new students to apply and register and complete new student orientation, online and in-person offerings. So we're excited about that. Our academic advising model includes both professional and full-time advisors who help students in their programs to succeed. Our advising appointments increased 58% from July 2023, and we think advising support is increasing student persistence and retention. Retention is up significantly this fall, over 24%. That's a very big number for returning students. This bodes well for program continuity and ultimately completion. So we're very excited about that. We have had 31 students also attend the TMCC Native American Student Success Orientation Program this year, so that's very helpful. And the Native American fee waiver is something that we are actively working to implement and to invite as many Native American students forward to take advantage of that terrific opportunity. And of course, if students need personal supports as semester progresses, our wonderful TMCC counseling team is available to them. Over the summer, all counselors were Project Connect and MBTI certified. Our fiscal or FY24 counseling programming and events reached 3,700 people. And we're excited about that too. In addition to belonging, we are working on pride in all things TMCC. The first, hopefully, annual TMCC Spirit Day happened on Tuesday, September 17. We were very excited. Thank you to Vice President Gutierrez for helping to get that moving. To all of the teams who made it so successful. Teams from across the college really contributed. Began with a march and all sorts of activities and events and so forth that helped the Spirit Day to move forward. And of course, there is such a thing as a free lunch. Everybody, in addition to the fun activities for students and employees, had a chance to dine together, and we look forward to seeing that become an annual affair. And so with that, I'll conclude my report and take any questions.
Any questions? Well, you guys seem like you had a busy fall.
We were busy indeed.
Hopefully everything's settling in, and that's good. Thank you for your report, Dr. Alexander. I'm going to move on to item number 4. We are going to give updates. So there are 4 updates. If I can get an update from Assistant Vice Chancellor, Workforce Development and Community College, Dr. Natalie Brown.
Chair, if I may, I first would like to welcome Eric. Thank you for joining us this morning. Manager Eric Brown is here. And then, unfortunately, Natalie Brown was unable to attend today. There's some stuff going on at Henshey that kept her busy down there today. So she is going to send me a bulleted list of updates that I will share with the committee when I receive it.
Thank you. So then we'll move on to Faculty Senate, Dr. Ginger Doe.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and thank you for getting here. I get called Jinger a lot. My faculty senate update is very short. We have had 1 meeting thus far on the 13th. We are off to a great start, though, and very excited for the semester. So, thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item C, Classified Council. I am going to murder this. I know I met you and I apologize. So Archites.
Archites Aldecoa Otalora. Good morning, everyone. I'm the NSHE Classified Council representative for Truckee Meadows Community College, just newly elected here in July. So I'll present the report here for Classified Council. Classified Council is starting with a bang here. We had our bake sale on Tuesday, and we were able to raise $435 for our bake sale. Starting in October, we will be hosting the Halloween decorating contest for departments or individuals that want to decorate their door. And that'll be happening on the 30th. And then our last event that we will help with fundraising will be our holiday party on December 9th, where we'll be helping with the turkey and ham raffle that we will be using proceeds to pay for our symposium that we host every year for July for all classified staff at TMCC. And then on the NSHE side for TMCC, we representative at the Board of Regents, a statement was read introducing ourselves as the new board to the Board of Regents and also the Chancellor, and letting them know how we as classified staff within the NSHE, representative of all institutions, combine together and form a one goal to help classified staff exceed in their different levels within NSHE. And that's my report. Any questions?
Any questions? All right. Moving on. Item number D on the 4 section. Student Council Associate Leisha.
Good morning, everyone. I'll try to keep this update short. So actually, TMCC had an excellent welcome week. We gave out a bunch of free swag. We also gave out boba from Num Num Boba, and we also gave out popsicles from Platerina del Angel, and free snacks at all 4 campuses. So that was a great outcome. The first Monday of school, we even had to cut the event short because of how much participation we had, because enrollment's been up, which is actually fantastic. We have more other exciting events have happened. The Latinx Sip and Paint was on September 16th for the Latinx Heritage Month. Spirit Day was on September 17th, and it was actually probably the most student participation and interaction SGA has probably ever had, at least in my time of SGA. So that was actually really exciting to see. I'm really hoping that we're getting a better outreach. Additionally, SGA participated in the 2nd annual tailgate on September 21st. We even donated some money towards scholarship towards the women's and men's soccer teams. And additionally, upcoming events, there's Pastries of the Presidents that is on October 1st, and it's from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., and we even have a blood drive happening on the same day. And then TMCC, I feel like TMCC has really started out on a fantastic academic year, and I hope it continues throughout the entire year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Chair Estepona,
Yes.
we have one further update that President Helgerson would like to share, if I may. I would like to
Move forward, please.
Thank you very much. I would like to introduce Kylie Rowe. Kylie is the newest addition to the President's Cabinet at TMCC. She is our Executive Director of Institutional Research, Marketing, and Web Services. Previously, Rowe founded and led her company, Kylie Rowe Company, whose digital media outreach and strategy engaged with executives worldwide. And prior to her entrepreneurial pursuits, Rowe served as Vice President of Economic Development, Communications, and Public Affairs for the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance and Vice President of Corporate Relocation for Dixon Realty. Rowe earned her undergraduate degree in economics at the University of Nevada, Reno, and then went on to achieve dual master's degrees in business administration and social work. Her accolades include Integrity Award from the UNR School of Social Work, Executive of the Year by the Silver State Awards, recipient of the 20 Under 40 Award by the Reno Tahoe Young Professional Network, and UNR's Outstanding MBA Student Achievement Award. We're very happy to have Kylie Rowe join us, and we look forward to a great time together.
Welcome, Kylie.
Thank you, Chair.
All right.
Ask for them to do an around the room so that she
Yes.
can get to know them as well.
Very fine. Good, fine idea.
Thank you. Sorry.
No problem. So we're going to introduce everybody?
Just the IAC members.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So where do we start? Because
Let's start over here. Let's start with Robert.
Robert Chisholm, Mazel Group. I also do work at the Northern Nevada Public Health or Washoe County Health District, and I don't know how long I've been on the board, but for a few years.
At least a
And-
couple years.
And TMCC is my wife and I's passion. We love the college. I love what they do for the community. I really love the fact Panasonic's going to be on our board here, as well as the board for advisory board for TMCC. And I'd also like to say, if anyone gets an opportunity, you should go see the Lizards play soccer. It's a beautiful field up there. It's a great way to sit and be close to the games and watch some good soccer, even if they tied the last Saturday. So,
all right.
You don't have
already
to do
heard
it
it from
again
me.
if you don't want.
We already know that.
If I didn't pass the first time, I'm not going to go.
Probably don't have much else to say, right? Milt Stewart, I'm the CEO for Nevada Works. Nevada Works is the local workforce development board for Northern Nevada, and we work closely with TMCC from a workforce development perspective. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Edward Estepona with the Estepona Group. I'm the founder, president, CEO of the organization. We've been around for 31 years. We're a full-service marketing agency.
Hey, good morning. Eric Brown. I'm the Washoe County Manager.
Nancy McCormick, Senior Vice President for Strategic Partnerships and Workforce with EDON. And I have been on the IAC since the original inception, first meeting of it quite a while ago. So really happy to have Riley on the team, have you on the team, Kylie on the team, and just always really wanting to advocate for all the great work that is being done by the college.
Thank you. All right. Okay, we're moving on to item number 5. We've got some presentations. First up is the manufacturing program, TMCC, Kelly Oswald and Laurel Santos.
Yay. And I'll just do a little housekeeping as they get up here and get settled. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do both presentations back to back. So we'll do machining first and then we'll do welding. Then we're gonna go on a tour of the spaces because we thought it'd be cool for you guys to see it after you hear about it. And then we'll come back and we'll wrap up the meeting when we're done. So just so you know what that game plan is.
All right.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Laurel Santos, and I co-teacher with Kelly Oswald for the machine program, and I also teach Ace High School. So you might see a lot of Ace High School kids walking around in here, and so they're actually in session right now.
So my name is Kelly Oswald. I'm one of the other, obviously, machine professors here and instructors here at TMCC. And we're going to start this presentation out with the not my presentation, so I'm a little, why is machining important? This is not the presentation. This reported.
Oh, you went did. This has been reformatted for different screens.
So we wanted to start you off with
Oh,
with
boy.
a graph of the trends in manufacturing in the state of Nevada, which shows a general increase that we project will continue for the foreseeable future and beyond. Okay. There's a slight dip during the pandemic, but that was kind of normal. We saw that across the country, across the world, everybody that we've recovered much beyond that now, and we're continuing to move forward with an increasing trend in manufacturing in Nevada. And machining aspect of that, we have a fundamental role when it comes to manufacturing in the industry, in the state, in the country, in the world. Everything pretty much starts with machinists. We make the fundamental projects or components, and how this process typically comes to play. I apologize, I'm off my game a little bit here, but traditionally where the machinist comes involved, somewhere somebody comes up with an idea. Could be an engineer, could be a designer, could be someone in research and development or something. It could be anybody, anywhere they come up with an idea for a new project or a new component, a new part, a new something. They'll work with an engineer, they'll sit down, they'll create solid models of this part, they'll create some blueprints and some pictorial representations of the part using computerized technology now, CAD/CAM systems and computer-aided design. They'll still end up at some point creating those paper blueprint copies from the old days. We still work with those. And eventually, somewhere in this pipeline, that blueprint, that idea, that component makes it into the hands of a machinist. And it's the machinist's job to take that idea, that concept, that new product or whatever it is, and turn it into reality. It's a high-skill, high-wage profession that doesn't come with instructions. You know, they'll design a new thing, but it's never been made before, and we have to develop the processes on how we're going to manufacture this, how we're going to create this, and how we're going to take it from that point where it's a kind of still an idea form into the actual real object that we can now take to market and stuff like that. So that's the role of a machinist, is on that end where we're turning those things into the real objects. There's a variety of industries we serve: automotive, aerospace, food products, agricultural, mining. It touches the core of everything we do as people. We may not have made the paper cup that you're drinking your coffee out of this morning, but the machinery that made it, the dies and the tools that made it, all the way down to the parts of the chainsaw that cut the tree down, to the grinding machines that turn that tree into pulp and everything. So the machinist has a role in bringing every single product and everything that's man-made into play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we'll see. So somehow this has completely reformatted itself from, I just put it up here, so I have no idea what we're going to get on this. It's going to be mighty interesting. So actually, this is what Kelly was talking about right here. So these are some of the industries that we're looking at right here again. It's everything. So agricultural is big in Nevada. And so even the pictures are different spots. I have no idea what we're going to get. This is what we're doing for all of us here. So again, we had automotive. And so I want to talk about the milestones of our program. So we did start this program in 2005 by Kelly Oswald. We had 2 rounds of the TAC grant that bought the bulk of our equipment that we have in our facility today. 60 Minutes did actually highlight the program. So it was a national syndicate. In 2012, ACE started, so this is our 12th year of ACE right now, so I've been with ACE 12 years. And we did have a national gold medal winner from ACE High School. We won a national gold for the entire United States, and now we're on the Go Ahead Win grant for 2024. And you will be seeing some of that new equipment being installed as we speak. So that was a $300,000 grant we got from the state. The machine curriculum, we have a couple things that we do here, we focus on CNC, computer numerical control machines. That's the bulk of what we do. We also do Mastercam, which is CAD CAM. So we draw things on the computer, and then we're able to machine those, 3D print them, laser cut them, plasma cut them. We also offer NC3 national certifications, 13 certifications. So our students are now going to get 13 certifications in measuring. Everything from a tape measure to rock hardness to optical comparators, everything you can imagine. We also have manual lathe and milling machines. We have a bunch of old school machines out there. We do OSHA General Industry, so all of our students get OSHA General Industry cards upon leaving the program. And then we also offer metallurgy and quality control. So we have a very rounded program. So it's not just focused on machining. So it's everything that encompasses the machining part of this. Degrees offered, we have the associates, which are a 60 credit degree. And then we also offer the certificate of achievement, which is a 30 credit degree. And then we have 2 skill certificates, which are 14 credits each. The majority of our students start out getting the skill certificates. They end up going out into industry through apprenticeships, and then they end up getting the 30, and hopefully they end up getting the full 60 credits. The 8 students that we have over here are getting 45 college credits for free. They do 3 years, 45 college credits. So they're about that close to getting their 2-year degree. In fact, some are on track for their 2-year degree now, so that's really, really awesome. And it's all free to them. Preparing students for the workforce. We wanted to teach our students life skill, real world work experience. So all the machines you're going to see in our industry standard machines. We do chess sets, the students design, they program, they set up, they run, they have to figure out run time. So we try to mimic industry as best as we can out there. So I think we did a pretty good job of that. We also partnership with our industries through apprenticeships, and those are growing more and more. So we try to get our students out in the real world, doing apprenticeship, they're learning on the job, they're learning here, and then they're getting their college credits. This is kind of in the middle here. One thing that's interesting about all of our programs and the welding, machining alike, our programs are stackable. So a student could take machining classes, they take welding classes, advanced manufacturing, all these credits stack up. So a student could get a 2-year degree in machining and actually end up with a skill certificate or certificate of achievement in welding or advanced manufacturing. So these stack up. And a lot of my high schoolers are doing the same thing right now. They're getting certifications in welding, advanced manufacturing. So they're very well rounded when they come out of here. And again, we just saw this, they will receive 45 college credits upon graduation. What is the future? The future we're going, we want to increase diversity, of course. Right now, a lot of these industries is really male dominated. We want to get a lot of female into this, a lot of other groups of individuals, which we're working on. And we want to maintain industry standards through equipment and training. So the new equipment that we just purchased out here is actually equipment that is state-of-the-art. We are going to training, and we want to keep ahead of that curve, not behind that curve. The other thing we want to do is we're creating a new skill certificate for quality control. So that is going to be a skill certificate that we're going to have the measuring, blueprint reading, in the quality control class. Going to be additional skill certificate that we're going to be offering those students. And the other thing we're trying to do too is develop new partnerships with industry. And this is Weinberg over here on the corner here. That's the owner of Weinberg, Mr. Papinga. We're trying to grow our presence within the community and try to link up this for apprenticeships through everything we can do. So that's another thing we're working on growing. And then again, develop educational pathways through this college and other colleges as well. So we're trying to make those pathways bigger and better. We're doing a good job now, but we just want to keep growing these and make them as big as we can make them. And then questions and answers. I know there was a lot we just threw at you here.
I have a question, Nancy McCormick, for the record. So what has occurred as far as engaging employers to help provide equipment to the college in order to do the training on the equipment that they may eventually be working on if they end up getting a job in the field? Have you had good participation from employers on that side?
We've had a lot of good success and a lot of good stories in this area. Our advisory board has been very supportive. The local industry has been very supportive, not only in hiring our students and putting them to work, but in coming into the class, visiting our students, guest presentations. Our operating budget is a little lower than we would like, so we're always struggling to find resources and stuff like that. There's many shops in town that donate their unused material for us to use and machine parts out of. We've had a company in town, Spinetti Machinery, donated it wasn't a donated, it was a loan of a $250,000 Swiss CNC lathe that we had in our shop for a couple of years so our students can train and use on that. So the support has been very, very good across the board and always has been. And we're trying to continue that and improve that to that and leverage that as much as we can. Because without them, at least hiring our employees, our students, it's hard to move forward without that support.
I just wanted to add one thing. We also do the apprenticeships as well. So we'll give them the basic skills they need here, and then they'll go out into the industry and they'll develop those skills on the job training. So we work with industries in that. Yeah, we're Haas, mainly we have Haas machines, but a lot of companies have other machines that are real similar. So if they get the basics and they get out there, and we work with the companies in that direction too.
Any questions from anybody? I have a question. So you're getting a student that's a skilled certificate, which is obviously the beginning, and this is how people enter into the program. What are they looking at when they go into these apprenticeship programs? I assume they're paid apprenticeships, and then what are they looking on average pay roughly, just coming out with a skilled certificate?
Pay-wise, it's every company's different. Right? I would love to say that this is what the industry pays. And the reality is there's a range, and most companies and the good or the better companies typically fall in those. On average, our apprentices are starting around $20 an hour as a paid apprentice. And once they complete their apprenticeship, their pay usually goes up relatively quickly. We've got students that have been in the program for a couple of years, they're finishing up, wrapping up, and they're well over $25, $26 an hour. The company across the street, Hamilton Medical, or Hamilton Corporation, which is one of the larger machine shops in town, has a very strong apprenticeship program with TMCC, and they're actually at the point now where they're now requiring all their new hires to come through the apprenticeship and take our class. They offer 25 cents an hour per class that the student completes while going through the apprenticeship on top of their annual performance raises and stuff like that. So we are seeing a good paying starting wage throughout the industry.
I'm going to ask another question. What's your bandwidth right now? Are you guys full? Do you need more students? Can you take more students? And do you have enough work centers or training areas?
We're running, I would say, probably close to about 50% capacity on the college side. High school's a little bit different. They're about maxed out at 100% capacity. We're limited by space. We're good with instructors. We just need more space.
So if we, let's say, got you to 100% capacity on the community college side, would there's still enough jobs to support these students moving forward?
There should be, yes. Yeah, I get requests all the time. Anybody got any new students or things like that? There are more. I believe we have about 105 enrollments in the college program in the evening, not counting the 50.
Yeah, it's about 50.
About 50 enrollments in the high school program. There's more jobs than we have students right now. If all of our students, and many of our students are here for industry upgrades too. They're concurrent with, they're employed in a machine shop and they're learning new skills and upgrading their skills to be able to do so. The machine shops are starting to realize that they're going to have to do more with less, kind of like everybody else. And consequently, they're moving towards automation on a slower process. But even once it comes to that, we're still going to need the technicians and the machinists to automate the systems and keep the cobots and the robots going and stuff like that. So there are more jobs and more opportunities now than we currently have employable students for.
Nancy McCormick for the record. So are there companies that you would like to have relationships with that you don't currently have connections to that this board could help you get to them and talk with them about the program? Is there anything we can all do to help basically to connect you with others that would be able to take advantage?
Yeah, that's a nice question. I think one thing all the programs in the building struggle with right now, we'd say we're a hidden gem over here. Nobody knows we exist over here. We have this magnificent building, millions of dollars worth of equipment, the state of the art, the biggest machining program in the state, one of the biggest welding programs, if not the biggest welding program in the state, and nobody knows we're here. And the more exposure we can get out to the community, to industry, to educational facilities, that's what helps us. Just getting us exposure, telling us that we're here. We do have open houses. We bring people in. We run the machine shop and different things. And if we can just get people, that's what we'd really like to do. Yeah, excellent question. Yep.
Todd Thurston, Panasonic. Quick question. You mentioned the male-dominated aspect of these types of roles. What barriers do you think are there, and what can we do to help break those down? I know I had a chance to visit the welding area a couple weeks ago. I don't remember her name, but she was just graduating from the welding program, and I was convinced I wanted to be a welder after talking to her.
Yep, it's actually sitting right behind you there.
That's her.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the question. I think one of the stigmas that we have with industrial education, at least with machining and welding, is back in the olden days, grandpa and grandma and grandpa, they worked in the machine shops and welding fabricating shops. They were cold, they were dingy, they were dark. That's not what we are today. These facilities are modern. They're absolutely fantastic places to work for. They're up to date, they're clean, they're efficient, they're safe. And I think that stigma that we're trying to get over is a big hurdle that we need to get over right now. And like you said, male-dominated field, we're fighting with that when a lot of these programs down here, with ACE, with our machining program over here, and just let people know what we're about. And know we're not about what it was 20 years ago. It's what we are now and what we're going toward the future. And I think that'd be a good key message. I've toured Panasonic. That place is absolutely phenomenal out there. I don't think they'll realize how absolutely technologically advanced that facility is out there. It's pretty awesome. So that's what we need people to understand, I think. I don't know if to answer your question, but.
Well, just wondering where we can help break that down if that's.
Yeah, that's a $1 million question. I wish we could answer that question. That's something that we all try to struggle with. We do ad campaigns. We try to get diverse groups in here, females in here. I wish I had that answer. I don't know if anybody else would like to chime in on that.
Thank you, Jeffrey Alexander, BPA, for the record. Thank you very much. Terrific information. And you're right. I think these workplaces are transformed from 20 and 30 years ago. And I think we do tremendous work here to bring student groups into the building. We have teams working with my office for workforce development and also for CTE program development and advancement. Kyle Casanelli, whom you've met, and she came to this meeting of the IAC a few meetings ago. Very energetic and upbeat, has been a counselor with Washington County School District for a long time on the CTE program side, and she has, I think, personally given dozens and dozens of tours of this building, not only to industry and to folks from government roles and federally as well, but also to many, many student groups, groups of counselors, teachers, and so forth, so that they know what we have to offer here at this facility and at TMCC in general. So the outreach efforts are continual, and absolutely the teams here are very interested in welcoming more to the area. We've had good success in recent years with some of the teams in the school districts in the counties coming to visit us too. And when we have open houses and so forth, these teams are always there. And we're so lucky to have them staff the tables and bring the props and so forth that will engage students and make them excited about this kind of work, because indeed it is safe and it is a much cleaner outfit than it ever was back in the day. And we're eager to see students of all backgrounds take advantage.
Anyone else? So, Edward Espona, I think that one of the other challenges we've seen with this is if you don't know, most of the money and funding that's come from the federal level comes from a training standpoint or equipment funding standpoint. historically in the workforce world, there has just not been a lot of outreach funding. We're seeing a trend changing on that. And so as that happens, I think you'll see more specific campaigns. This is, to me, I'm in marketing. This is a branding challenge. When I say a branding challenge, if there's a misnomer of what they think this field does, it's going to stay in their head until we give them a different thought, a different idea, a different experience. And that can only be done through consistent outreach. Now, what is expected of this board and members of this board is it always is a connection point somewhere. It's that one-to-one until we get more of that outreach money where we can do more mass blasting media style of messaging. There's always that one-to-one and bringing people here, introducing them to the college. I mean, that is part of what we are supposed to do to help the college. So I just want to encourage all board members that, yeah, it's a simple introduction to one person that could unlock a whole new level of things for them. So please, if you have any of those connections, please connect with the community college and get that going. But thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you for having us.
If I may, really quick, this is Mike Pearl.
Next.
Pearl for the record. Just one quick comment on that.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm back here because my
lost you.
laptop's dead. So, on that point about the dollars required to market and get the message out. In this next legislative cycle, TMCC, we are requesting through a special and enhancement $300,000 per year for a total of $600,000 across the biennium for enhanced marketing of our CTE programs. So we understand the need and we're going to push for it. And so anything you can do as we start to have those conversations with GFO and the state legislators, it's going to be exceptionally important. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, next presentation, welding program at TMCC, Pamela Flynn and Joseph Coleman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sorry to disappoint you. It's just me, Joseph. No Pamela. She'll be here later. But on behalf of TMCC Welding, welcome. I'm really glad to see you all here. I'm one of 4 full-time welding instructors here and 5 full-time staff. And I want to give a short introduction of myself because I think it actually provides some valuable context. You guys are looking at things at a little bit of a higher level here, and I think this helps. So I've worked in research at a major university as a mechanical engineer. I've presented to the FBI and the NSA as a consulting analyst. I've run surveillance and takedown operations of violent criminals as a member of the Oakland Police Department. And I'm here, and I love being an instructor at TMCC. This is one of, if not the most important jobs I've ever had in my life, right? And that's because of the people. It's because of the people that I work with, but it's first and foremost because of the students, all right? And so that will be a focus of this, is talking about the students and how we can help them. So again, on behalf of them, welcome. All right, so the basics of the program. The most important number on this slide is the first one. 225 students served approximately by the welding program per semester, all right? We are absolutely capped out. Space, equipment is always a struggle. Staffing is becoming less and less of a struggle. I'm really happy with where we are right now, and we can definitely improve, but 225 students, that's about all we can do right now, but I feel like we are serving them the best we can, and it's improving every day. So these students range from 17-year-olds that are working towards an AA degree while completing high school and working a part-time job, to students who are spending their own free time to better themselves while working full-time to support their families, to students who view, on the other end of the spectrum, they just view welding as a skill that can help them to better enjoy their lives, right? We've had students that are 70-year-old men and women that come in and they work their butt off, right? And it's great, right? And then they're next to a 17-year-old. I've got one student who's 17. He's actually in the diesel program. He's taking extra welding classes, and then every day he comes in for an hour and a half, and then he rushes off. I'm like, well, why are you rushing off? We're just getting started here. And then he works 30 hours a week, right, for a construction company as well, right? But then he will take time out of his day to help somebody who's just here for a hobby. And to me, that's really special, right? I firmly believe that one of the best ways to learn is to teach. And so we try to foster that in our lab. We try to have these 225 students really help each other throughout. So in addition to the students, we have 5 full-time staff with over 75 years of industry experience. That includes 4 full-time instructors, 2 of which are female, which is a big deal. And then 1 classified full-time personnel. And that's our, he's called a Welding 2 is his official, Welder 2 is his official title, but Gentry Tabor, and he actually runs the physical plant side of things, make sure that we have everything we need in terms of material and equipment to keep things running. And then we have 3 part-time staff. And with our part-time staff, we really focus on bringing in industry experience, but also providing a pathway for willing and able former students. So Heather back there, she's one of our part-time instructors, and she's actually still a current student, right, doing other classes, but she's been a big influence on us. And then we get to the more physical side of things, right? Our welding booths, our plasma arc cutting tables, our oxy-fuel welding stations. Those are important, but they're not as important as the people. The people are by far the most important part of our program. All right, so what do we actually teach, right? One thing that we struggle with in welding is it's traditionally folk knowledge, right? Most of the older welders you talk to, they either went into a shop kind of randomly or got introduced by somebody, and some 50-year-old grizzled super salty guy, right, not to stereotype here, but taught them welding, and they asked, well, why do I do it this way? And the answer is, well, because that's the way it's done, right? It's folk knowledge. It's passed down from grandfathers, uncles, salty guys, sometimes grandmothers, hopefully, right? But it's folk knowledge. It's not necessarily grounded in a structured curriculum. And so we're trying to change that without throwing away the parts of the old approach that are still working. Okay, so we're gonna start in the upper left there. This is solid metal arc welding or stick welding. It's been around for close to 150 years. The first patent, I believe, was in 1890. It's still every bit as relevant today, right? So if you take a look back at your journey here this morning, right? So without stick welding, you wouldn't have had gas to put in your car, or you wouldn't have had power to charge the battery that runs it, right, if you got an EV. The bridge or overpass that you drove on to get here wouldn't exist, right? Or it'd be much smaller and less strong than it is today. And in fact, this building as it stands just wouldn't be here, right? It'd be completely different. We wouldn't be able to have this big open space without structural welders that could create this and put this together. That's special. So stick welding is incredibly important to industry, and it's massive in northern Nevada, in the country, and the world. The middle top is gas tungsten arc welding, or TIG welding, as it's colloquially known. It is the second most simple form of welding, but it is by far the most glamorous. I cannot tell you how many students come in here and they're just like, I just want to learn how to TIG weld, right? I saw it on Instagram. I want to do this. I try not to discourage them, but I try to encourage them that they need to learn the basics first, and we'll get there, right? We do. We get there eventually, but it takes a lot. It is undoubtedly the most glamorous, right? It's capable of incredible precision and delicacy. Jet airliners wouldn't be possible without TIG welding, nor would hydroelectric power plants or titanium bicycle frames, all right? So it's kind of the rock star out of this. Upper right is wire welding, which encompasses gas metal arc welding and flux core arc welding. There's different forms where the wire actually comes through a gun. It's by far the easiest form of welding to learn, but I like to tell students that it's one of the hard, just because it's easy to learn doesn't mean it's easy to master, right? It's very hard to be a good wire welder and understand why you're doing what you're doing and how it's affecting what you're creating, right? So those top 3 photos present the bulk of what we teach, of the skills that we teach, right? But the bottom 3 are also important as well. So the bottom left is oxy-fuel cutting, right? So it's pretty fascinating that it does not use electricity, unlike the other processes and skills up here. Instead, it uses a chemical reaction and heat to actually cut predominantly large pieces of steel, so incredibly important in steel, structural steel work. And in the middle is something that's near and dear to my heart, why I got into engineering and then welding, which is metal fabrication, right? So joining metals together through various means to create everything from picture frames to chandeliers to the ski lifts, right, that take you up Mount Rose, just like 15 miles that way, right? Metal fabrication is about applying welding as a tool to build and create. And I think that's incredibly important, right? People tend to look, we have students that often come in and they look at it as welding as a end-all be-all, right? I want to be a welder, right? Some of them are going to be welders. That's going to be their job title, but most of them aren't, right? They're going to need to use welding to create something else or to do something else. And then the last but not least, bottom right, newest addition to our program is CNC plasma art cutting. So basically you're combining computers and the fourth state of matter, right, plasma. And I like to tell students it's almost magic, right? You're basically harnessing lightning to create metal parts. And the big application here is that all of those tilt-up factories and warehouses that are all over Washoe County in northern Nevada, they use hundreds of these parts, right, every day. Okay, so we've looked at what we teach our students. So how do they use these processes and skills to support industry? So this is just a sampling, right, of where welding comes into play. Power generation, coal, natural gas, hydroelectric, geothermal, solar, wind, all of them rely on welding to some degree, right? So you've got it from piping, turbines, metal arrays for solar, all of that requires welders. Power, the desire for power is not ever going to decrease, right? We're always going to use it. We're always going to need more, we think, right? And so welders are always going to have a job there. Oil and gas, pipelines and refineries are some of the biggest employers for pipe and structural welders, not just in northern Nevada, but in the country. Fossil fuels, sure, that's one thing. Natural gas is another. Water is another. All of them use structural and pipe welders. Shipping and steel, or shipping and marine, sorry. So heavy steel, aluminum, stainless steel, almost all of them are found in everything from the smallest Zodiac to the biggest ocean liner, right? So we wouldn't have shipping if it weren't for welders. Aerospace, right? So the picture here is everybody thinks aerospace, they think of the outside of planes, right? The wings, the fuselage. Yes, hundreds of welds in there. But if you look at a modern turbofan engine that's used in a commercial airliner, hundreds if not thousands of welds in each of those, and that's highly skilled TIG welders that are needing to do that, working on aluminum, stainless steel, and titanium. Food and dairy, something that again affects all of us. Often overlooked, right? But it requires sanitary welding of stainless steel to safely produce, pasteurize, and transport the food that powers the state in our country. That's actually one of the biggest ways for individuals to get into TIG welding is to go into sanitary welding, and it pays very well because it's specialized. And then construction, the last two might seem a little bit more obvious, but construction, you know, everything from the handrails in this building, every stair you go to, a lot of them at least are welded together to big steel, right? To bridges, skyscrapers. And then something very relevant to northern Nevada, right, is mining. So that big shovel there, the bucket on there that, you know, weighs several tons, if that bucket breaks, when it inevitably breaks or wears out, a team of welders can work weeks, if not months, on repairing that bucket. And it could be one weld that takes them weeks to do, right? So it's both scary and amazing, I think. So industry partners, right? So we've seen what we teach our student, how that applies to industry, but a key component, and part of the reason you all are here, right, for fulfilling our mission is receiving feedback and support from industry. This is a renewed focus for us. We did not have a very strong welding advisory board just a couple years ago. We hadn't had meetings in a while and things like that. This last time we had 8 different companies represented from industry. Their feedback is invaluable. We've tried to implement it. I'm really excited. Mid-October, we're going to be doing our next one, and we'll actually show them that, hey, we took what you said and we applied it. What can we do better now, right? So I'm incredibly thankful for these industry partners, but we're always looking for more, right? It doesn't mean it has to come from your company individually or who you represent, but if you've got an idea of an industry partner that uses welding and can help us, let us know. We'd love to reach out and talk to them. We'd love to take our students on a site visit, anything like that. We're trying to get more integrated with industry here. Okay, so what about our academic offering, right? How does this actually come into play kind of officially? So we do offer an AA degree, which is 60 credits over 2 years. And as part of that, we make sure that our students leave this building with their AWS American Welding Society certifications. That's actually somewhat of a rarity in welding programs. A lot of the welding programs, they might get some, but they have to pay extra for them. We do not charge our students for their AWS certifications. We want them to come out of here with a stack of papers that they can go and say, I am qualified. This is what I've done. Maybe my resume isn't the strongest, right? But I've taken the time and I've been certified. Like, I know what to do and my welds are going to be quality. So that could be from students who are wanting to move on to get a bachelor's degree, right, to get a 4-year degree, or they're just looking to make sure that they're as attractive as possible to future employers. The next down is the Certification of Achievement in Welding Technology. That's 30 credits over 1 year, 2 semesters. And that's really focused on preparing students for entry-level positions, or I think it's a great stepping stone to going and presenting themselves to the union and joining on as an apprenticeship there, right? So they can get their skills more focused, and then the interactions between the trades and unions can be, or community colleges like us and unions can be a little complicated, right? And so that's actually, as an industry partner, we're looking to bring in some union reps this next time so they can talk to the students about what it really looks like if they want to move down that pathway. And then last, we have skill certificates. I see these as most useful for students who are already employed, but they're looking to expand their skill set, right? So maybe I work in a fabrication shop in town, which we have plenty of, but I'm stuck cutting material day after day, right? I'm grinding out welds for other people to do. There's no better way to show your supervisor that you're capable of more than putting in your own time, right? Our program's affordable. There's tons of financial aid options. They can come here, they can get a skill certificate. Yes, maybe they won't be absolute masters of their craft by the time they leave, but they'll show that they're willing to put in the time and work and that they understand what they're doing. Oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, almost done. Okay, so our path forward. I mentioned before that we are looking to move forward with a more structured curriculum without kind of just getting rid of the past, right? Part of that actually does mean looking backwards and looking towards a more traditional curriculum model. And that means more classroom time, more grounding in kind of the theory behind what we're doing, while still giving students lots of hands-on experience. Second is instructors as students of the trade, right? More and more training for our instructors, making sure that they're up to date on what is state of the art, constantly improving, right? Again, the best way to learn is to teach. The best way to teach is to learn, right? It's a circle, right? We all work together on that. Engaging with and listening to our industry partners, I've already touched on that. And then continued community involvement, right? Skills USA is a great one. Machining's done a great job of it. Scott Holcomb, who's our longest serving instructor here, he's been incredibly involved with Skills USA for decades. It's a great way to get out there and also show students what they're truly capable of, right? And then finally, collaborating with academic colleagues, both within this building, right? So with architecture, with machining, right? All of us working together to do different projects, expose students to different ideas. But also, we should be visiting other institutions, seeing what they're doing, sharing how we've found success, and also how they found success in trying to integrate those ideas. So I've talked a lot. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Nancy, go for
For the
it.
record, Nancy McCormick. Just a quick question of whether the department is using some of the workforce reports that are available through some resources within the community that identify people that are hiring welders or that have welding or fabrication as part of their business, because that can be helpful for companies that you may not have developed relationships with yet to identify that, oh, on a recurring basis, they have these jobs that fall into that category. And so just curious about whether you have access to those, or if we could help you get the access to those.
We do have access. Traditionally, we have not, and that is something that we're trying to do more of. It is absolutely an emphasis. In the advisory meeting that's coming up, the advisory board meeting, one of our big topics is just going to be internships, right? We don't have as much of a formalized internship program as many of the other departments do, and that's something we're looking to greatly increase, because the biggest question I get from students is, all right, where can I go get a job, right? And we are very tapped into local fabrication shops. We've got a lot of industry experience, but to get some more formalized pathways, and also some pathways to some opportunities at bigger companies, because one of my messages to students when they ask me about jobs is, I tell them, do not be afraid to apply to the big companies, right? Apply to the maintenance positions, right? Go at Tumwa, when they talk about, well, I'm gonna apply to be a welder at Tumwa, I tell them, apply to be a welder at Tumwa, but also apply to maintenance. Maintenance at Tumwa gets paid better, and they actually do more welding than the welders. So, right? But that's something we didn't know until we sat down and talked to Tumwa. So, in short, we have not, but we're trying.
Great. And if we can help at the Economic Development Agency, we have a lot of good data about companies and specific occupations that are in demand.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions from other board members?
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, we will be doing the tour.
Yes.
And do we leave everything here? Everything's good? Okay.
We can leave it here.
Things that we make here. These cages are actually made by a local company here in town, a machining company for us, so everything is local. So about 95% of what you see here was made in our shop. We have 3D printers. All these chest pieces are aluminum that have been anodized. We have injection molded parts. So we do basically every facet of machining in this facility that we can handle. So we like to showcase this. It's kind of just good eye catcher to kind of showcase what we do in here. And then when we go around the corner, we're going to show you the machines that actually make this happen. We have 2 new machines that literally came in a couple days ago. They're in the process of being set up, so our shop is in massive disarray right now. So kind of overlook that. But you can see our 2 brand new machines that just came in, those intersetting machines. And we also have a little keychain we're going to give you as a little keychain. This is a CNC part of it. So this is kind of where the magic happens, all the cool parts. These little keychains that you see, all these were actually designed, made, and fabricated here in the machine shop. These 2 machines right behind you literally came in 2 days ago. They're in the process of being set up. This is Eli. He was actually one of the students who went through our program, and now he's actually works setting up these machines. So comes around, goes around. So kind of awesome how it's making full circle here. So these are our new machines, and this was part of the Go Wing grant we got through the state of Nevada, $300,000. And thank you, Kim, and everybody who was a part of that. So this is going to be a big asset. And one thing with machining welding is we have to keep ahead of that curve. If we get behind that curve, we're not serving the students, we're not serving industry. It takes a lot of money to buy these machines. These machines, $50,000 to $100,000 is not uncommon. So we're very lucky that we have the technology. So these machines will be set up and running. Our students will learn how to program, set up, run these machines just as they would out there, and they'll make things like this. If you look around the corner here, we have some chest sets and some more trinkets going along the wall here. In the back part of our shop are the manuals. Now manuals, people think they're old, they're antiquated. Manuals have a place in the industry. We use them for one-off parts, for people who are doing maintenance in facilities use them. So we do teach the manuals. One reason why I teach the manuals is if you can learn the skills on a manual machine, those skills transfer over on a CNC. So a move on a manual is just done on a CNC with a computer. So we make that transition. So we started on the manual side. We have 4 classes. We actually make a little running gas engine. The students machine everything down to 1,000ths of an inch. So 1 human hair is 3,000ths of an inch. So 1/3 of human hair is the base unit of machine. So really, really small tolerances. So all these parts, they're not vary within a couple human hairs. So very precise, very precision. So we start the students out on that end. They progress over to the CNC. CNC mill over here makes square parts. CNC lathes over here make round parts. So between the 2 of these machines, we're able to make all kinds of cool things. Beyond that, we have some more CNCs. We have a bunch of chess sets the ACE students are making. We have some saws over there. We have a full tool room capability. And then next door, we have our classroom. And if you want to peek in there, we have ACE, but you feel free to look in there. We have full simulators. So the controllers you see on these machines, every desk has one of those. So a student can do what's called G-coding, G-code those parts out, run those parts, and then we can transfer them over to these machines. These machines have no brains, so literally you put one wrong number and you're going to destroy a $100,000 machine. So we're very careful. We also have CAD CAM over there, 2D, 3D CAM, 3D printers. We have lasers back there, so pretty much anything in industry we have in this room. Plus we have a full inspection room back there as well. That's where we teach the inspection courses. Yeah, so this is kind of our little universe. You can see how tight we are in here. We are crammed. We literally cannot get one more machine in here right now. So we appreciate all your efforts and help that you give us throughout the program. Would you like to add anything, Kelly?
Our students are making a sacrifice to be here. They all have lives. They've got significant others, children, jobs, things like that. And if we offered and had our students producing the kinds of projects that they make in other machining programs and stuff, it's hard to get your family involved. But when they bring home a foosball table or one of these jewelry boxes and say, okay, this is what I'm learning, then the light bulbs go on with their family and their friends, and they say, aha, now I understand how this is going to put food on the table, how this is going to put a roof over your head, how this is going to be a career that you can thrive in. And it works because the same skill sets that are required to make these types of projects are exactly the same skill sets that you would need for a part for an airplane or a submarine or electronic device or anything like that. It's the same exact skill set. But these projects tend to motivate our students, motivates their family to tell them, hey, get off the couch and get back to class. You know, and I understand why you're not here for dinner. I understand why you missed our anniversary. I understand. And that support is invaluable to our students. It makes the whole process of getting through this program and learning a new trade and all that stuff so much easier for them without them having to worry about those types of aspects. So that's kind of the focus on why we do the projects we do, but skill sets are the same.
Do you have a gift shop?
A big hit when there's a fundraiser and people are bidding. Everybody wants your chess sets. So I think you might want to commercialize those.
There's some significant challenges for us to do retail, but oddly enough, nobody objects to us giving the stuff away. So we do our best to support local space, but auctioned off at churches, for our different classified councils. We try to give these things to donors, people who are in a position to benefit the program in some way, whether that's through a donation of time or material or whatever, or putting the word out. It was my goal originally. I'm still trying to figure out how to make this happen. I want something on the desk of every high school counselor in Washoe County School District, because machining, everybody goes to Walmart, everybody buys stuff off the shelf, and nobody thinks about how it was made or the fact that it even was made and the processes that are involved in that. Machining is one of those trades where everybody needs it and nobody knows about it. And so when a high school counselor is talking to a student about their career choice, are you going to go to college? Are you not going to go to college? What are you going to do? All this kind of stuff. They'll talk about auto mechanics because they all have a car. They know what that's like. They'll talk about doctors because they've all been to one and they all know what that's like. But having something on their desk that was machined allows them hopefully to bring that to more of their attention, more of the higher up, so that they can communicate some of these skills. You asked questions about how we get more females and diverse students and stuff like that in the program. And a lot of times it comes back, they're just not even aware that it's an option for them. And doing that through the high schools and stuff like that, we feel could be a good way to move in that direction. But there's a lot of high school counselors, so we got to figure out what kind of project and how do we make that happen and stuff like that.
To that, I might add just briefly, when we talk about funding, this is the product very much of a variety of funding sources, WIN dollars and so forth. GOED has been very supportive. The Pennington Foundation helped to build this whole facility. But as we know, and as Chair Estepona pointed out, there are limitations sometimes on those funding sources that can and can't be used for certain things. And very often capital construction is the thing that they will not permit. Renovation or construction are almost always excluded owing to the variable costs that they face over time between when the grant is approved and when the construction occurs. So we would love to see this building stretch out another 40, 50 feet, right, and give us all of that space in machining and welding and diesel and all of those spaces. That would be tremendous. But TMCC has not had a capital construction project approved since 1996. Right? It's always been donor funded for the Health Science Center, for this facility, for other projects that we have done. And so if you have the megaphone we need to help our our leadership around the state understand that and appreciate that, that kind of investment can go a long way.
So there is space to grow. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And we can't wait.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, I was involved in the design of this space back in 2005, and I thought, man, this is going to be perfect. We're never going to run out of space.
Never say never.
And, it's like, the very first computer I bought, I knew nothing about it. I called a friend on the phone, and I'm at Circuit City. That dates things. I'm reading, so I wrote down everything on this little thing on the computer, and then went out to the payphone to call him. We didn't have cell phones back then. And I'm giving him the specs, and it had a 200 megabyte hard drive. And he was like, "Oh my God, I wish I had a 200 megabyte hard drive. You're never gonna run out of space." And a one Word document can be over 200 megabytes now and stuff like that. So the space is a huge issue.
Yeah. Any other questions before we head on?
Did everybody get a keychain?
We did. Thank you.
They got one. Cool.
Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Awesome. Unless it's a sanitary one, right? They learn the hard way that when they go out and they start getting jobs in welding, they learn that, oh my goodness, like everything is not as nice, everything is more crowded, and everything is dirtier. All right. So I mentioned that Tuesday we were super packed. Part of that reason is we have a renewed emphasis on fabrication, right? Come on this way. On fabrication, so building things with welding, right? Welding is just one of the skills, right, that we apply. So this is a really simple, it's just two pieces of metal that they then welded together, right? But it's actually pretty difficult to do because to keep this square, to keep this at 90 degrees, you have to think about the order with which you're applying heat. You have to think of how that weld metal expands and contracts. You have to think about how you prepare this metal so that that weld metal will actually penetrate and hold this together. And then you don't have any other structure here, and I didn't let them use clamps to keep it 90 degrees, right? And so this is a surprise for the fabrication course. They were super thrilled, right, to do this. But it was great, right? It was a great learning experience because then not their final project, the project they're working towards right now, we try to keep everything practical in here. So if they build something in fabrication, we want to make sure it's something they're actually going to use, right? We would love to do the stuff that they do in machining, right? Those games and things like that. But for us, we are constantly breaking things, and we constantly are running out of things that we need. So one of the examples is this is going to be our fabrication space, right? We didn't run a fabrication class for 6 years. We're doing it now, and we're trying to add an advanced fabrication class, right? But one of the things is when people are working on building something on these fabrication tables, everybody else is exposed to the UV light, right? There's miniature suns everywhere, right? I went to the dermatologist this week. Skin cancer free, yay, right? But like, that's a genuine concern. So what we're having them do is they are building, this is the first part of a frame, which will be hold a 6 foot by 10 foot UV proof welding screen that will shield them, people walking through and things like that from the UV light, from sparks, etc., right? Now, we had that little corner piece I showed you, right? This is a much bigger challenge. This is a 6 foot by 10 foot piece of metal, right? And they have to do this in 4 spots and then keep this square when you're measuring across the diagonals here. That distance can only vary by 1/8 of an inch for them to pass the project, right? So again, we're trying to apply rigorous standards to them, right? You get it? Okay, so quick, we'll run through the other ones. Be a lot louder, the white noise, and every one of these tubes coming out would actually suck up those fumes and keep them safe, right? We get more welding machines, and we're gonna kind of skip this bay. It's a little loud. We'll go back to a third day.
So much for my audio.
But where a lot of the really exciting stuff is happening, right? So we now have 2 CNC plasma tables. So these are computer numerically controlled, like in machining, right? So we have the computer workstation. We actually work in the computer lab with them to complete CAD files, computer-aided design files, and then they turn them into computer-aided manufacturing files, right? And they then make, that then powers this machine, which is, it's got a plasma torch on it, so it's literally harnessing the power of plasma, right? Just like the sun. And it is cutting out these shapes from steel. So this is a little bicycle that one of the high school classes work on. They have hundreds of them over there that they did. This Lincoln machine has the same capabilities as this other ArcLight machine here. This is actually donated to us from Lincoln Electric, which builds these machines up the street. And we do have several students that have ended up working at Lincoln Electric after this. And then you can also see part of the reason we have space constraints is just to prepare the material that students are going to weld on. We go through hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of steel, well, thousands of pounds of steel a semester, right? Requires this giant shear, right? It seems crazy, but that multi-ton machine there is what's required to effectively and quickly cut half-inch plate, right? So a lot of infrastructure here, right? But we're very thankful, and we're always asking for more. So, but yeah, that's it. Any questions about the shop space or what you guys have seen here?
I just have one comment. I believe Todd brought it up as far as breaking down barriers in some of our trades. We're trying to control what's in our control, and we're trying to hit the high school students and the middle school students to let them know about the options for the different populations. For example, next week on October 3rd, we're actually going to be taking Heather and Brita, 2 of our absolutely amazing welding instructors, to Construction Career Day. It is going to be held at the convention center, and this way we can have their awesome personalities interact with the students and just letting them know from an early age, hey, this is an option. It is okay for girls to be welders. And I'm just really excited to be taking Heather and Brita to that opportunity and just seeing their faces. You guys will, business as always.
Yeah, that's to get ready.
Makes it real. Makes it real.
Not to put Heather on the spot or anything, but she is a former student of the welding program, and I got a chance to watch her in action, and just the smile on her face working with our students. What did you just say to me? Like just literally walking?
I love it here.
I mean,
I love it here.
yeah,
Everything
so
about it.
we have absolutely amazing instructors with so much experience and personality, so we are just busting at the seams to showcase that to the community.
And to kind of piggyback a little bit on that, in the machining presentation, somebody asked how can we break down those barriers more, specifically with getting more women in the trades. Here we're really lucky, right? We've got Heather as a part-time instructor. We have 2 full-time instructors that are women. And I think it sounds like the easy answer, but just having those role models here is massive, right? Because we still only have, out of 225 students, we've got anywhere between 10 to 15% a semester are women, right? That's a really small number, but people are, when I went to training this summer and met people from 20 different welding schools, they were shocked that we had that many women in our program, right? And it's hard because but it's something that will get more and more women in the field, because a big barrier that I've witnessed personally for women in the field is a shop is one thing, but like shop culture and culture on a construction site is hard, and it's not people intentionally doing it, right? It's just there's no women there. And they're like, oh, hey, can I help you lift this? It's like, no, I'm completely capable, right? Yeah, exactly. They're stronger than I am. So, anyway, but role models, right? So, all I can say is that on an individual level, when you have a woman asking you, got a teenage girl come up to you, right, and say, hey, I want to be a welder, I want to do this, encourage them, right? We need more. They can certainly do a great job. And actually, there's research to suggest that women are the best at TIG welding because they're fine motor skills, right? So and there's lots of opportunities out there. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. So, but thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So go back. Yep, I know you guys are meeting. So good. Thank you.
Thank you. Come back and see us. We'll get started. All right, I think you're probably.
Alrighty then. So that was a great tour. I want to thank
the machinists and welding groups for showing us all the great things that you're doing. I think at this point we're on to item number 6 of our agenda, which is the listening session. And for those that aren't you, Todd, the listening session is an opportunity for us to kind of reflect back on what we kind of learned today and kind of maybe perhaps have some action items or things that maybe we can do to move what the community college is doing forward in this world specifically where we're at today. So I would like to begin with anybody that would like to start. Milt?
Thank you, Milt Stewart, for the record. So I heard some opportunities to introduce some of the work that's being done through the workforce development system, particularly around placements and introducing or collaborating with employers and the workforce development system in general. I also heard the non-traditional employee, this women in welding type of thing, and the diversity is something that we are working on. But I have an anecdotal experience where we as a system need to be better at it. I know that sometimes when we have job seekers that are going in front of some career counselors, that they're not always being introduced to these alternative welding or manufacturing, and sometimes being dissuaded from that, believe it or not. And so that's something that, as a workforce development system, that we're committed to working on.
All right. Anyone else? Because I'll start calling names.
Nancy McCormick, for the record. I appreciated the reinforcement that each of us has a different network of connections in the community, and that in addition to, I know, the wonderful marketing work that Kylie's going to do for the college, we all need to be out there promoting the great programs, the great news that comes out of TMCC, the engagement in the community and all of that, and that our role on this forum is to be really ambassadors. So just spending some time to think about who could I introduce them to, or who might benefit from hearing about this that might not have heard about it any other place. So good takeaway for me.
Todd Thurston. Takeaways. First of all, thank you for welcoming me to the committee, the council, whatever we're called. I recognized a huge passion from the instructors that presented it to us today, and the care that they have for their students. Very impressive. And also just the point that these skills that some may think are dying or dead are far from it. That it's needed for a long time into the future. AI and all these other things aren't going to take that away. the dedication of TMCC as a whole to the community is always impressive to me as I interact with them. And then the commitment that Jeff Alexander mentioned about going forward, moving forward into the future and committing to get better and better as we go. And then just the opportunity for all of us in industry to make those partnerships with community college, with the community as a whole. And then the last one, learning that there's such a place as Basque in Spain. And from a gentleman, I can't pronounce his name, it's pretty amazing. So I appreciate it.
Robert?
Well, I think we need to remember it all starts in the high schools and in middle school, and not everyone needs to go to college. And that's where I think we've left ourselves behind, especially in the school district. They push, everyone has to go to 4 years college. Not everyone needs to go to college. Not everyone should. And there's nothing wrong with a career in the trades or some other career. In fact, I'd argue some of those are better careers than being an accountant. I try to dissuade anyone from ever doing an accounting. I say become a heavy equipment operator or become a welder before you do that. And I think we need to, talk with the schools and try to emphasize that there are better alternatives or other alternatives. Just depends on the person. Everybody is different. We need to remember everyone's different and give them the opportunity, especially when they're young, to coach them into what would be best for them.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of the prior comments. I was just reflecting on the circles in which I travel, and very often I'll go visit someone, or we have someone who will come want to do business with the county. So I'll put this on a list of things to discuss in terms of outreach opportunities, placement opportunities, and also the capital needs of TMCC. Because, we could see, obviously, standing there in the facility, where it could go if we had the money to do it. And I think there are potential funders waiting in the wings. So I'll be having those conversations both internally in the county and also with our stakeholders.
Anybody else? I will go otherwise. All right. For me, I think this reinforces everything what I've always believed at Truckee Meadows Community College is that this is the gateway to workforce. And what I mean by gateway to workforce is you can come into this place not knowing exactly what you want to do, not even having a clue what you want to do. And I encourage kids who are getting out of school, because I think they're developing, I think it's different today. Kids 30 years ago said, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and they went to school. I think kids today are a little bit more cautious and want to explore before they make a commitment. I think the community college is a great place to do that for programs such as this, as well as other programs, whether it's certification is the beginning place to begin, or whether it's an associate's degree that eventually leads you in a bachelor's degree. It is a pathway to go in. And I think this is I believe all community colleges will be that workforce gateway in the future, because I think it's always thought of, in my own belief, again, when we talk about brand, it's always thought of, oh, you couldn't go to college, so you went to community college. I don't think that should be the case anymore. I think, oh, you started at community college so you could find your way through without going into major debt, right? So that's one thing I took away. The other thing is Robert was saying is, this is, again, there's so many careers out there that everybody told you to go get when you were in college, to go get a degree in this and that in college. And at the end of the day, it's like a lot of the careers that are now that's in front of us that are making good money doesn't require you to go into debt. And it's something that we've been, from a branding standpoint, it took 20, 30 years of repetitive telling the kids, go to college, go to college. I think we need to deprogram some of that. We overkilled on it. I think we need to go back and drop back. And then the final thing I want to take away is I noticed here's the interesting thing. We purposely, as a board, try to hold these meetings in various different locations to be able to see the different industries that the community college teaches in. I don't know if you noticed, I started taking pictures because I realized, this is the first time I'm taking pictures. Why am I not taking pictures and sharing this on my social media?
Yeah,
We all go to this, and we've been doing this for a while, and maybe it's because we're in such a formal setting that we forget that we should be doing it. So, I encourage people as we move forward and we visit other centers, and even like now, I'm going to take this, I'm going to share it, share again some of the data that I learned today. It may not be the marketing dollars that we want, but something is always better than nothing is what I always say in marketing. So I encourage people to share it, and I encourage people in the future to take these photos and share that as well. That is it for the listening session. So I want to move on to any new business. Melissa, I think we have new business.
I have a couple of things, but if anybody wants to weigh in first, is there any agenda items you'd like to see discussed next time? Any programs? Our next meeting is November 21st. It'll be on the main campus, the Dandini campus. So if that sparks anything, if there's a program on that campus that you want to see or talk about, you can always email me or bring it up now in new business. So I'll open the floor to that. If not, then I have a couple other things. Great, you always know how to get in touch with me. So at the chair's pleasure, I get to show a little video about Spirit Day. So that was one thing we talked about earlier and how cool that was. And we have a little video that Kylie shared with me that I'm hoping to share with you guys as we exit today, just as kind of a fun thing. So we're gonna, I guess it's my new business. We'll do public comment and then we'll get it up on the screen. And just thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate it. And obviously, I might open the floor to the president, just she's able to step in for a second.
Hi, well, first of all, thank you for all being here today. I was upstairs participating in a bipartisan congressional informational session on climate solutions and the Battery Workforce Initiative. Panasonic was there, did a great job. Lighton was there. There was a lot of wonderful kudos for Northern Nevada, for TMCC, and for the synergies we have with our partnerships in the Battery Workforce Initiative space. So it was really fun, and I apologize that I couldn't be here today, but I'm grateful that you are all here today, and I look forward to catching up with VP Jeff, who I'm sure did a wonderful report. And so thank you.
All right, so I'm going to take public comments, but everybody hang tight for the video afterwards, all right? So
It's gonna be exciting.
With that in mind, I'm moving back to public comment section of our meeting. Public comments will be taken during this agenda item. No action may be taken or matter raised under the item until the matter is included on the agenda as an item of which action may be taken. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes per person. Persons making comment will be asked to begin by stating their name for the record and spell their last name. The council chair may elect to allow additional public comment on a specific agenda item when that item is being considered. Any public comment?
I do not. Oh, yes.
One
we have
public
comment.
Jason Klonike.
And spell your last name.
KlonickE. I am the Technical Sciences Project Director here at TMCC. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to participate in this. I would just quickly like to echo some important dates that we have coming up here to, again, showcase TMCC out into the community. October 3rd from 10 to 1, we will be at the Convention Center for Construction Career Day. Again, alongside with Kyle Casanelli representing TMCC, we'll also have our separate table showcasing the applied technology programs that we have here at our Edison campus. And then also there will be a job fair for 2 days, November 20th, which is part of a National Apprenticeship Appreciation Week. We will be working with our union and non-union apprentices. We're going to have representation from the state giving out awards for Best Apprentice with a company and Best Apprentice and all different kinds of awards to showcase and kind of put Nevada as well as TMCC on the map nationally. And then also a job fair on November 21st. Showcasing construction, advanced manufacturing, welding, machining, and transportation. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
public comment.
With that in mind, I'm going to play the video before I adjourn everybody.
All right.
Let's go, Spirit Day 2024!
With that, I thank everybody for coming, participating, and I am going to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you so